Hi, this is Renata. I wanted to share some of the most bizarre, over-the-top street theater that I've seen in a while. I've had my fair share of the street theater, but the other day it was just over the top. And sometimes when you deal with this over-the-top stuff, only another TI could really relate and understand and believe it. If you tell some of the things that happens to you as a targeted person to people who are not targeted, the first thing they do is say you're mentally ill. But other targets can relate for the most part. So for those who are not familiar with what street theater is, I don't know the official definition, but in my definition, it would be like a well-orchestrated act with so many people participating. It's very organized. It's done usually in public, and it's just all an act. It's all an act. It's basically to continue to carry out the mind control and the intimidation tactics on the target. And it just looks so natural. So I'm going to tell you what happened to me, but I also want to draw a parallel between the street theater and an extra in a movie, because that's exactly what it is. These people are acting. They are given a script and they're acting. And that's how I see it. So the other day, I guess that was Tuesday, I came out of my house. I was going to run an errand. And my street was blocked off. My entire block was blocked off. At one corner, it was blocked off at the other corner. Had to be about 10 police. I didn't count them, but it was somewhere around 10 police cars and police on feet, and they were standing on both sides of the streets and at the ends of both of the block on both sides. First thing I noticed before I even noticed them was one of the perps, because there are several of them in this area. One across the street was outside looking directly at me to kind of check my reaction to everything that was going on. Now, the interesting thing about this police activity is that the police were not moving. They were not looking for anyone. They were not interviewing people. They were just standing there. They were just standing around. So I drive down the block and I asked one of the female officers what's going on and can I even leave the area. Before she responded to me, she got on her cell phone and she texted something. And I noticed that. And I believe that she texted the officers at the other end to let them know that I was exiting down at her end. I really believe that. I could just tell by her reaction. I was looking right at her. So I asked her what was going on. So she tells me that there is someone in the area that has a gun and they're in the backyard. And I said, well, which backyard? And she said, we don't know. I didn't believe it. It was not convincing. I did not believe it. I just didn't believe it. None of these officers were asking any of the neighbors, had they seen any suspect? Have they seen any kind of suspicious activity? Nothing. They're just standing around. I took it as personal because I get such heavy police harassment. Now, I know that might sound bizarre to some people, but the significance of this whole thing, and that's the thing. For others, it may seem totally over the top, but for the target, they can usually find some sort of significance, okay? So this has nothing to do with paranoia. I'm not a paranoid person. Let me just put that out there. Here's the significance of this whole thing. That happened on a Tuesday. Tuesdays are very heavy targeting days because I go to City Hall to speak on those days. On every other Tuesdays. And then on the off week, I go on Thursday. So I usually go to City Hall every week, okay? Either a Tuesday or a Thursday. Sometimes in between, just depends on what's going on. These people do everything in their power to stop me from going to City Hall. Because I go down there and I expose the targeting. Not because I'm going to look for help, because I know they're not going to help me at this point after all these years, but it's my right to go, and I go. That's what I want to do, okay? And I go through this extreme targeting every week. Usually on a Tuesday. Sometimes it starts on a Monday, but it's all to try to prevent me from going down there. But this was just over the top. Like this, they were just doing too much with this. But these are the types of things they do. And then I have to deal with the armored cars. The armored cars follow me. They show up at the job because they need to be there to pick up the cash, I guess, from the cafeteria. But they mysteriously always show up when I'm leaving the building or coming to the building after lunch, whatever. They like to synchronize with me, these armored cars. They follow me in the cars. They show up at places where I'm at. They have shown up at Target stores. They have shown up at IKEA. They have shown up at 7-Eleven. It sounds very bizarre. I know it does. But I'm telling you, these people do some very, very, very insane things just to target one person. It's ridiculous at the measures they will take to harass someone. Many targets will tell you that they do very strange stuff, very out of the ordinary stuff, and it looks so normal to everyone else that's around you. But the amount of resources and time and energy that they put into one innocent person, that should be a crime. Because in the city I live in, there's a lot of crime. And they should not be taking 10 officers off of the street to come and target one person. Trust me, believe me when I say this. There was no criminal activity. There was no suspect that they were looking for on this block. Like I said, the significance of that is because they were trying to intimidate me into not going to City Hall that evening, which I went anyway because I'm going to do what I want to do. So I went anyway. I'm not intimidated like that anymore. They used to highly intimidate me. Now, this whole police on my block thing, we've gone through this rodeo before. When these people first start targeting a person, it may be very subtle at first, and the target is trying to piece it all together and figure out what's going on. Something strange is happening. I'm noticing I'm being followed, or whatever kind of targeting you're experiencing. And I think that most targets know what I'm talking about in those beginning kind of confusing states. Then they bombard you to let you know that something's going on. At that point, that's when you know it's personal. Okay. So go back some years. We've been through all this police on the block thing before, several times actually. But when I was first discovering about this targeting, every morning I would come out to go to work at 4 something in the morning, and the police would be on each corner on bicycles with bright yellow jackets on. Every morning. That went on for about a week, if I remember right. That went on for about a week. So when I saw this drama the other day, I remembered. We've been through this before. So it was all street theater. So let me just draw this this parallel here. Here's a description for movie extras. Okay, the extras are the people who just kind of blend in the background in a movie. I'm sure everybody knows that. Okay, here's their job description. Movie extras are used to play the role of background fillers. You will see them as crowds at sporting events, students in the school hallway, patients in hospitals, and diners at restaurants. Movie extras are the soldiers on the battlefield and even the criminals in jail cells. Okay, so you see them in every movie. They're just silent and they just look so natural and they just blend in. Same thing with these perps. Look so natural and they just blend in. You don't need to go to acting school to be an extra, but you do need to be able to do a few simple things. You need to be able not to look at the lead actors just as if you're going on about your business. You have to be able to make believe a little bit and take some general direction, which is exactly what the perps have to do. They tell them wear a certain color, they need to wear that certain color. They tell them to say something, which most of them don't do a lot of talking, but some of them do. They do it. They tell them to synchronize with you, they do it. They tell them to jog by, walk by, take the dog for a walk, general direction. Okay? Then it says, for example, if you're walking down the street, you may be told that you're in a hurry or that you're just strolling, enjoying the day. Or you may be asked to react to something as you walk by. So they may tell you, when you see the target, I want you to rush by him. When you see the target, I want you to casually stroll by. When you see the target, I want you to just walk over and stare. When you see the target, I want you to smile. They just give them general directions. And these people do it. They're given a script. It's all a script. And all they want them to do is just act like regular people and just to blend in the background. And that's why it looks so natural to everyone else. That's why sometimes people truly don't see when you're trying to point out that you're being targeted, because these people are good at what they do. They just look natural. I would not be surprised if some of these people were not hired from these acting agencies. I have no proof of that, but I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised because that's exactly what they're doing. So then it gives a scenario. It says, for example, in a movie, two actors are walking down the street having an argument. The pedestrians walking by them are extras. Often the drivers in cars driving by are extras. Now the two characters enter a restaurant. All the other patrons eating in the restaurants or waiting for a table are extras. And the waiters are extras too. Now that might be a little extreme. Every single person in the restaurant wouldn't be a perp, and everybody in the cars wouldn't be. But there's quite a few out there depending on how you are targeted. So that could just be me that see it that way. But for a while, I've seen that these people they're acting. And when they finish doing what they do, they say cut, and that's the end of that scene. The target has gone by. It was the same thing today. When I left work, the fire truck came by with the sirens on. Then the police with the sirens on. Okay, 20, 30 miles away, 30, 40 minutes later, I'm in the city I live in. There's another ambulance with the alarms on. There's a police car with the alarms on. Now, for the people, the innocent people in the cars and in the homes and things in that area, they think there's a true emergency. But most of the time, it is not an emergency. When there's a target around, they're doing that to target the person. And when the target leaves, they turn their sirens off, cut, that's the end of the scene. It's all an act. It's all an act with the first responders involved, the neighbors involved, with the people at the stores involved, with the people at work involved. It's one big movie set. That's the way I see it. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. I want anybody who deals with these extreme scenarios to never question yourself, because you're not crazy. It's these people that have some serious issues. Anyhow, you're going to take all these precious resources and put them towards targeting innocent people and going way over the top like they did with me the other day. And that's not the first time. I have many stories, but I just wanted to share that one because that's the recent one. But many targets will tell you these type of over-the-top things are everyday occurrences in some TI's lives. It's ridiculous at the extreme measures that these people will go to target a person. But you can't let it get to you. You can't let it intimidate you. As I said, I still went to City Hall. And when I got there, I got a flash mob of police officers. That's another thing they do as part of their street theater, is the flash mob. I'm sure everybody knows the flash mob is where all of these people like bombard you at once. Well, that's what I got that same night when I went to City Hall. The police, as soon as I get ready to go through the door, they all came. And that looks very natural to people. But I knew what that was about. It was about intimidating me into not going. But I did it anyway. I spoke. And that's what everybody needs to do. No matter how elaborate they get with the street theater, do what you need to do. Continue on. And just tell yourself that it's all an act. Because that's what it is. It's an act for them, but it's real life for the target. And it can be very devastating. It really can be. But you just have to do what you need to do to take care of yourself on a daily basis, and don't let this stuff intimidate you. Just see it for what it is. It's one big script that they're given, and they have to stick with that script. So that's all I wanted to share. God bless and stay strong.